Hi guys. So I've decided against doing highlighting first. I'm gonna finish doing the base colours. So if I just pick this guy up here, so you can see him. Basically what I'm doing, I'm just painting anything that I want to be gold with this, like, what's it called? Tiny tin even game colour. I think it's very similar to the Games Workshop. The name forgets me now. Tin Bits, I think it used to be called. I don't know what it is in the new colour range. So basically, I want my gold. I want all the bits on the Space Marines to be gold. You know, the Aquillas and the little sensor here and stuff like that. I just, I think, the Space Marines, they're decorative. They like to decorate their armour and that sort of thing. And so my whole theory behind this is I'm going for a polished gold look. These guys keep their armour super clean. They're real proud. So, and I want to reflect that in the gold intricate trim. So the skulls, the skull buttons, the little sensors, the hangers, the Aquillas. I'm just going to paint them first in this tiny tin colour, and hopefully it'll just help make the gold really pop once we go on with the second layer of gold. The other thing I've been doing, probably best to show you on this Sergeant, if you can see the tubing on the back of the legs. I've just given it a coat of black. I've used the Vallejo black because it's got a nice matte finish to it. The Chaos black that I've used in the past tends to go a little bit shiny. The other thing, this tiny tin colour, it just seems to dry out real quick on the palette. So I've been adding water like crazy to it. So yeah. So there we are. I've got another 4 of these guys to do, and then obviously I'm doing the hands and the weapons and that as we go as well. So I'll get that done, and then I'll bring you up to speed with what I'm doing next. This evening I just wanted to quickly talk about purity seals. Okay, the Lexicanum tells us that a purity seal is awarded to a Space Marine by the chapter's chaplain. It's I suppose some kind of blessing or a prayer or something like that. I could read you out the fluff, but we can all Google Lexicanum ourselves and check it out if we really want to. So I won't bother boring you all with that. What I will say is, over the years I've come across 2 or 3 different methods of painting purity seals. I'm gonna for these guys. I really want to go for an oldie worldy sort of parchment style of look to the paper. I'm going to hopefully achieve this by. Obviously you can see here I've base coated the paper part of the purity seals with this colour here, from the Vallejo game colour range, Heavy Skin Tone. I think the Games Workshop equivalent would be something like Bronzed Flesh. I suppose it's a nice warm colour to build the base on. I'll probably top it off with something like Bleach Burn, and take it from there and go for get a sort of papyrusy, parchmenty type of look to it. the Deathwing Terminators I did a while back. Obviously they had burn coloured armour, so I didn't want to use bleach burn, so I went for a slightly different approach, which was a base coat of Space Wolf Grey and a top coat of white. That worked quite well and popped quite nicely on the armour of the burn armour colour of the Deathwing Terminators. So and for both of them I've used I've built up layers of red for the wax as well, which is quite nice. Works quite well. I like the red waxy colours for the period sales. I think it looks good. So that's what I've done on the purity seals. You'll also see that I've painted the shoulder icon. I've used this colour here, this Stonewall Grey. Again, I think I'm just going to highlight that with a bit of white. I quite like that. It looks quite nice. So that's progress so far. I've got another 5 of these guys just to paint the sword icon on the shoulder pad, and then that'll do for me tonight, I think. Okay, so really very quickly, I just wanted to mention, I just finished off the 4 sword markings on the shoulder pads this morning. Now this colour I was using, the Stonewall Grey, I did mention it on last night's video that it was drying out really quickly and it was causing the paint to go a little bit lumpy in places, bits and bobs, so I was trying to put water with it. It helped, but just didn't seem to work real well. So what I ended up doing in the end, if I just show you, I used this Vallejo polyurethane colour. It's like a paint retarder. It stops the paint from drying out. So I dropped a bit of that in it and mixed that in, and that seemed to do the trick. It allowed the paint to flow a lot easier on the model. So that's quite good. And the other thing I wanted to quickly talk about was when you're batch painting, like what I'm doing at the moment, i.e. painting a bunch of models at the same time. I just wanted to quickly mention painting priority. So if I just move my camera up there, and then there's something a little bit more interesting to look at while I'm gassing. So we're painting up the squad. So there'll always be 3 models that will stand out from your squad more than the others, and that A is going to be your sergeant, B will be the heavy weapon, in this case the plasma cannon, and C will be your special weapon, which in this case is the plasma gun. The rest of the troops are all fairly generic. Now, I'm the sort of person, when I'm painting, I always try and make the next model better than the last model, and it's just kind of the way I do things. So when I'm batch painting like this, I always start with painting one of the generic models first to get an idea of what I'm doing, and then I'll move on to doing the 3 special models, either second, third and fourth, and then finish the other models. So you're not doing it first and you're not doing it last. That way you kind of got an idea of how your paint's working, how your paint's going on, and that before you're doing it. Because when your models are all painted up on the table, people's eyes will always instinctively look at the sergeant and the special weapons first before the generic guys. Obviously we want them all to be awesome, but it doesn't always happen that way. It certainly doesn't for me. Hey guys, just really very quickly here, just for future reference and a bit of a personal note for me, the Vallejo Heavy Red that I've been using as a base coat is actually one of the extra opaque paints, which basically means it's really see-through. So for using it as a base coat is a bit of a daft thing to do. I've kind of done most of it with it now, so I'm going to finish it off, persevere and finish it off. Basically all I'm doing is applying multiple thin coats to get around the situation. What I would recommend to the majority of people if they're trying to follow along and paint is use the MacLeod Red foundation paint would be ideal from Games Workshop, or maybe the Scarlet Red from the Vallejo game colour range. That's certainly probably the way I will go in the future. So yeah, so I'll persevere, finish on. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one. So I got a bit bored of doing the old monotone colour thing on every model, so I decided to change tack a little bit. And so I've finished base colouring individual models now. I've got them to this stage. So if I just quickly run through, I've still got these guys left to do, so it'll take me a bit, but if I just run through what I'm doing, so you'll see I've based all the bits that I'm going to put gold in that tiny tin colour, Vallejo model game colour. The red was, as I mentioned in the previous clips, that thin opaque colour. What I've also done is I've just inked it with a bit of Badab black. That's sort of helped just run into the recesses a bit with the dark lines and just darken the red down a bit, ready for highlighting. The silver parts I painted with this model colour Vallejo Natural Steel. That's worked out quite well, and again that's had a bit of Badab black ink on it. Like I say, ink, I think they're washes now, what they're called. I've used Bastille Brown to base the face and the loincloth and the ropes, and the Iden Dark Sun foundation paint for the blade of the chainsaw. Ultimately I think that's going to be chevrons. Obviously I've used again the silver for the rims on the backpack and the blade and the sword on this backpack. We've used, what else have we used? We've used Night Blue from the Vallejo game colour range on the plasma pistol. I'll use the same colour on the plasma cannon and the plasma gun. Black, I think we've talked about the black on the tubing on the suits and behind the knees there. I think we've talked about that before. I've used Bastille Brown on the belt. So that's that guy. Pretty much done for the base coat. The only other thing that I'll do before I start the highlighting stage, and that's my favourite stage, is where everything starts to come alive. And the only other thing I'll do is I will go and base all these now up to this sort of standard, and before I start highlighting I'll mix myself up some of the green colour that we talked about earlier in part 1, and I'll just go over and tidy up any mistakes that I've made. Anywhere that I've got it. Painting this loincloth, I know I caught the inside of his leg a little bit. I don't think you probably can't see it real well, but I know it's there. It's gonna bug me, so I'm gonna sort it out. The same with this guy here. If I just show you his foot, I managed to slip, or I will show you his foot. On top of his foot, a nice healthy dollop of heavy skin tone there, so we'll sort that out. So I'll just show you just what one of the bog standard Marines. He was relatively quick All I needed to do for him was his pouches and his belt and the little rims on the back. Obviously I still have his bolt gun to do, but that should, that ultimately should end up looking very similar to the plasma pistol, but without the blue. So I think that's pretty much it for the base colour. So I'm going to go and get on with these guys. It's probably going to take me the best part of a week because I ain't got a lot of time to spend doing it. So I'll see you all in part 3 for highlighting and basing. I was originally going to try and do it in 2 parts, but there's just too much stuff to cover to show you what I'm doing, really. So I hope you're enjoying following on. Any questions, please let me know. I'd love to try and help out some people. So yeah, have fun, and we'll catch you soon.